It's also all fun.
Do you prepare for it differently, doing a shorter opera like this?
No, it's all the same preparation.
And how about the acting part of it as opposed to singing? We know how you prepare to sing, but how is it preparing physically to be on stage? You're on stage for virtually the entire opera. How is that?
Well, that's what staging rehearsals are for.
Yeah.
We go to staging rehearsals and we set the staging and we prepare the geography and the interactions, and then we do them.
And so by the time the performance comes, does that sort of just go away? It just is second nature and you just go and sing and have fun with it?
Well, yes. I mean, what you have to do is you have to, when you come to a performance, you have to perform.
Right.
Basically. And hopefully everything has become second nature so that you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. What do you think happens to Santuzza after the opera? Has anyone ever asked you that before?
Well, in reality, she probably becomes an outcast. Her son is a bastard, although Lucia will take care of her. And Lola was probably killed by her husband because he had that was a Sicilian law. Mm-hmm. If a woman was caught in adultery, he had the right to kill her. So that's probably what's going to happen to Lola. Right. So she's got it worse than Santuzza.
Absolutely. Do your emotions ever get away from you in the middle of the opera? I mean, we are so emotionally involved and are responding so emotionally. Does it ever overwhelm you on stage, or are you so busy paying attention to what you're doing that you keep your emotions in check? Because you're renowned for your emotions as a singer.
Well, one has to be expressive on stage. I mean, there's no way one can avoid that. And but the trick is doing it in a technical manner. If you have a technical shell that you work through so that you can so that when you express yourself, there's a technical base to it, then you can let go with your emotion and it doesn't hurt you. I mean, I've been ruining my voice for 30 years now. Everybody's been telling me that if I keep singing that way, I'm going to ruin my voice. And if I keep using chest voice like that, and I'm raping my vocal cords, but I still have my voice.
Well, yes, you do. And I thank you so much for talking with me here, Ms. DOLORA Zajick.
I love that, Fred Plotkin, that she says she's been ruining her voice for the past 30 years.
We should all be so lucky to do it that way. No, she has among the most amazing techniques in all of opera. We always have to remember that opera singing is based on the foundation of technique, and then language and drama comes right after that.
I'm here with Salvatore Licitra. Congratulations, bravo, and a wonderful performance.
Thank you.
You are the first tenor in Met history to sing both these roles.
Blood to the wagon, blood in the wagon, please.
In a Saturday international broadcast. How does it feel to be making some history today?
Wow, it's amazing. It's such a big pleasure because this is a very big opportunity to sing for the Met and to show my voice and my technique, because actually I'm trying to improve day by day, and this is a very great opportunity to even to myself to confirm my improvement.
Mm-hmm. You are doing double duty, so is it twice as much fun or twice as much work?
Both. It's very funny because and also very hard job because it's a double job, and also this repertoire is quite heavy, and I feel very, very excited for that.
So how do you pace yourself, because it is indeed very demanding vocally and emotionally to be playing these two roles? How do you pace yourself?
Well, even Turiddu and Canio are both so passionate character. Of course, they are dramatic, and Turiddu is it's a cheaty guy, so he's a bad guy. But I believe that even Turiddu is not so that much bad, and he's a young man that he was in love with Lola before Santuzza, and that's part of life, and unfortunately for Turiddu, finished very bad for him. And Pagliacci is an old man, the same kind of voice, the same kind of timbro, but much older man and more, bad, evil. I mean, maybe, and very jealous.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Turiddu. He's a victim in the first opera, and now you're going to be Canio, and you're actually going to be committing the crime. You're the perp, as we say, the perpetrator. So, what do you do during intermission to get into the mindset of Canio?
Well, it's the same work basically, because of the technique for the voice and warming up. It's the same way, and I'm trying to keep concentrate about the focus of the character.
When I go to the opera and I know a famous aria is coming up, I get really excited. Do you also get that way, especially when something like Vesti la Giuba is going to be happening?
Well, the aria is quite important, but I am ready. I'm trying to be ready for from the beginning for entire role, entire opera, because every single note are important too. Of course, the most famous aria, everyone are waiting for that. So I'm thrilling. Just a little more thrilling for that.
Mm-hmm. You are Sicilian, and I understand Turiddu actually means Salvatore.
Exactly.
So do people call you that ever?
Well, yes. My cousins always call me by phone. Hey, Turiddu, how are you? Of course, my name is Salvatore in Sicilian, so everyone in Sicily used to call me Turiddu too.
And because you're Sicilian, can you relate to the stormy jealousy that's in the operas today?
Yes, of course, yes. Jealousy is a part of my DNA.
Okay. Thank you very much, Salvatore Licitra. This is Annie Bergen.
Let me begin by asking you first about what makes this particular opera of Janacek so compelling, so potent for you.
Let me ask you, have you been now to the theater?
Yes.
So you know why.
Indeed.
You know, it's such an emotional outburst, and it's so powerful that I think that to make the interview afterwards, it's the most unsuitable moment. But I am happy to have the opportunity to greet our audience.
It's interesting. At the beginning of the opera, it starts so simply. The music is so triadic in form, and as it unfolds, it becomes more potent, it becomes more astringent, and some of the folk elements start to take over. But even the beginning of the opera with the xylophone is such an interesting way to start an opera, so unusual.
Yeah, it's actually the coloring of the nature it's a portrait of the mill, of the sound of the mill, water mill, and this is. That's true that you are immediately in that atmosphere of that small village, and you all already in the first couple of bars you feel that there is some tension, that something will happen, and probably something not very cheerful.
Exactly.
And this is the mastery of Janacek, how he can provide all those elements together and combine them together and make very accessible. Actually, very accessible and still very complicated and complex music.
Indeed, which leads me to my next question about his music being more Czech in your mind, influenced by those idioms, or having a more international accessibility to it.
I think that it's always, if something is really very characteristic, then it is easy for international public to understand it, and I think that this is very much not only Czech but especially Moravian, Lachian. That were the pace when the lands where Janacek used to live, and where he felt himself like at home and like a part of the life there.
At the premiere, one of the program notes said that, in Janacek's own words, the truest expression of the soul lies in melodic motifs of speech, and he loved to use the language and use that in the music, in the writing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It was his great passion, actually, and he was a passionate collector of those motifs. He would go for a walk and hear some two ladies who would say "Dobrý den" and "Good day," yeah, and he would immediately make a note for him, and "Papi bim, tati," and that was the. It's very simplistically explained, but that was the root of his composing method.
Anya Silja told us that you were great help to the cast with the Czech language.
Yeah, it was my pleasure to help them. Of course, it's really extremely difficult for them, and you never can expect absolutely perfect language from the not native speaking people. But I think they have done very good work, and especially Carita Matila has a wonderful Czech.
I agree. Before I let you go, what would you like the audience to listen for specifically, especially in this final act?
I think that the last 5 minutes of the music are the most sublime expression of real love, not superficial love, but deep love between two persons who were treated by the fate quite strongly and quite severely, and they are through this love they are coming to the new chapter of their life.
Maestro Jiří Bělohlávek, thank you so very much.
Hello, I'm Beverly Sills, and I'm backstage here at the Met with the two superb stars of today's performance, RENÉE Fleming and DMITRI Hvorostovsky. It is, I'm speechless. I love beautiful singing, and I've just not heard stuff like this for a long time. And the chemistry between the two of you, what's going on?
I don't know about chemistry. She just failed miserably. She was trying really hard. Yeah. We'll have some later on. I know. It's so sad, that scene. It breaks my heart.
RENÉE, is this your first full-length Russian opera?
It is. I sang it a couple of other times, but a very long time ago when I was really too young.
Well, you know, my family came here from Russia, and they never let me sing in Russian because I sang so badly in Russian. I wanted to give my mother a present. She didn't want it. I was going to sing some Rachmaninoff for her. She said, no, thank you. Do you have to...
How about the vocalese?
Oh, yes. Why didn't you come up with that sooner?
That would have been fine.
That would have been wonderful. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
Do you have to adjust the way you sing in Russian? Because the consonants and the vowels are so different.
I find the L's very difficult for us as English speakers, and really anybody who doesn't speak Russian has to adjust to the two styles of L's, and the one that's in the back, to not have your voice also get very heavy is a challenge. I wondered how you do that. You don't think about it, do you?
I think you do it much better than anybody else. I mean, it's really a tough task for
She does everything.
I paid him to say that. I paid him.
Yeah,
yes.
for Latin or Italian or French speaking voices, but you do perfect.
Let me ask you a question. It's a specific one. How old do you think Tatiana is right now?
She's about 16.
And how old are you?
I'm about 22, yeah.
Because towards the end of the opera, you say, I'm 26 years old. At 22, you have broken this poor girl's heart. You're about to flirt with somebody you shouldn't be flirting with. You're cold, aloof, and you're going to kill somebody. Why?
Wow. What a list. What a list.
Why are you attracted to this role?
Well,
why do you want to sing this?
I would really disagree with you, because if I was cold and dissolute, Tatiana would never fall in love with me. Obviously, I have quite a great bunch of qualities.
She sees through all of that. That's right.
Yeah, and it actually shows at the end. And obviously, Onegin as a young man.
Well, also women find unavailable men very attractive. I mean, men who put them off. You know, just tell a woman she can't have a man, and that's the first thing she's going to go after. But
well, I think it's love at first sight. He walks in and she says, "This is it." Those are her words. "This is it. I found him."
I would say that the entire opera is written on such a nostalgic nerve of love, from the beginning of the opera until the end, and resistance of this love that makes the story. And Onegin is resisting that, and he can't resist it.
That's what women find so appealing. Yeah. Well,
I love that it was written for students as well. I think that's so interesting that Tchaikovsky wrote this for conservatory students.
Well, I think they're all very upset that I'm not letting you go back and prepare for the next moment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
RENÉE, to you too.
Yeah, because in the prologue you're a baby.
Yes, but a big baby.
Well,
a medium baby. Yes.
And then when you come on after this, you will sing your big scene. Tell me about Emilia. She's, well, not a baby anymore. In this first act, she'll be a young, beautiful woman in love. Yes. But she's kind of a young woman of mystery, too, because she's been abducted, she's adopted. How do you play her?
It will be a surprise. No, I'm kidding. So the story is there. So the drama, it is with me, but not quite with me, because in in the second act, I will find out and I'll explain to my father. So we're going to find each other. So I will find my oh, I think somebody's on the door. No problem, no problem. A lot of people there with us.
It really is a dressing room. So
it is a dressing room, yes. So I'm glad to now to meet on stage my lover. So in the person of Marcello Giordani, and then my father, my dear father and friend Tom Hampson. So I really I'm happy to go on stage, and I will have a very big and difficult aria from the very beginning because I need to have a very fresh voice.
Well, and
Yeah.
you start, as a matter of fact, as soon as you go on stage, you do your big scene, your big
Yes.
aria. Do you like to do that first, or would you rather be on stage
all
to
the
kind of warm
time.
up?
All the time, like I'm on my exam in the school. All the time when I want to sing, if there are thousands, I want to be the first. I don't know. It's just
So get it out of the way.
exciting.
And you talked about the cast you're in, and I didn't actually think about this until yesterday. You're the only principal woman on stage.
Yes. I have my harem of men.
Does it feel odd in any way to be the only principal woman on stage?
No, better. No, I'm kidding. It's just a coincidence. And then you know about the story. So the story was wrote by a Spanish guy, and then Verdi. He was impressed about the Doge system, and then the battles between families. You know, it's the big drama is in fact on Simone Boccanegra, of course.
And how about the music? This is a sort of middle period transitional Verdi. Do you think of it as?
No, it's very mature Verdi on my taste, and I always said on my ear it sounds exactly like a vocal symphonic. As a subject, it's not so dramatic than all other operas, but as music, it's quite impressive.
The orchestral and string writing sounds kind of impressionistic in some ways, but the vocal writing sounds a little bel canto.
Bel canto,
Do you think
exactly,
that?
of course.
Yes.
Yeah, my throat thinks too.
Do you think of yourself as a bel canto singer? You love Puccini.
No, I'm thinking I'm an opera singer, so nobody told me which repertoire I'm going to sing. It's all the time my fault. It doesn't matter the repertoire. I like to have different meals, so tonight I will have a wonderful Verdi.
And what should people listen for in the music, do you think, in your big scene coming up?
Emotions, love, and then discover my dear father.
And we're going to leave you to prepare to go on
Yes,
stage?
I would need to
Now,
vocalize.
What would you do? You will vocalize more?
No, just to impress you, because I vocalize.
Well, I'm
I
very
just made it
impressed.
at home. No. I almost never. I'm doing the vocalist here. Just a few sounds to see if my voice is there. Otherwise, so my cuisine, it's my cuisine, so it's home.
I can't thank you enough.
Thank
Angela,
you.
For visiting
Thank
with
you
us in
very
the
much.
dressing room, and we'll be
See you.
watching.
Ciao. Bye. Bye.
Of the opera. You know,
Yeah,
Angela Gheorghiu hadn't gone on yet, but
Middle of Genoa at the moment. Got a lot of really mad people out there.
this Boccanegra rule, some people have called it the Italian baritone rule, and I've even heard people say Rigoletto is lunch and this is dinner. Is that true?
That might be. I haven't sung Rigoletto. I can tell you that every baritone that has the privilege to sing this role loves it. There's just so many parts of his character that are so interesting. He's a tough guy. He's a passionate guy. He's an idealistic person. There's a lot of heartache and genuine love that is inside of his character for his wife, his lost daughter, even for his people, for the position of authority that he doesn't really want. You know, there's just so many things to grab onto in any particular scene, and Verdi, I think, is just, don't need me to say it, but he's such a genius in musically painting characters of people's souls and passions, and I think he's just this. I think this is a masterpiece. I know some people sort of go round about it, but I think it's a wonderful opera.
And yet Boito helped him fix it up.
Oh, without question. But it's curious when you look at Verdi, what he was always asking from his librettists, and what he loved about Boito, it was not information. It was words, almost as metaphors of a particular emotion or a psychology that let the music then convey the actual psychology. And this is, I think,
the beginning of a great relationship we see between the two of them. There's an awful lot of the later operas in this Simon Boccanegra.
Yeah, there are hints of that.
Oh, sure. Don Carlos is coming. Iago is coming. Otello. You know, it's incredible.
You've called this Verdi for grown-ups. Why do you call it that?
Well, I call it, it's funny, I call that because the opera, to really, the people that are moved the most by it, or to get the most out of it, you have to know something about the art form of opera. You have to have I think, assimilated the understanding of opera as a language, music as a language, because the metaphors and the symbols that are being manipulated here by these masters is really quite deep and quite detailed. And just to walk in off the street or first time, of course it's a wonderful first time opera, but to really accept the holes in the plot or carry the characters' dilemmas through in this context to actually get to the heart of their dilemmas, I think requires a certain amount of experience and patience.
You've called this a big sing. How do you pace yourself for this opera? Is it
well, I
bigger
sleep
than
as
like
much
Giovanni?
as possible. I eat early, get up early. You know, it's I don't. You know, when you sing so many different things, you find the pacing for it. It is a big sing. It's a long evening. It never lets up. There's not a lighter scene than another scene. It's also a big scene because the emotions are so big. The different parts of Simone's dilemma. It's not so much about getting notes and getting them right as it is creating them for the